Week 13 of the NFL season is in the books. We had a lot of crazy games, a lot of games to recap, so let's get straight into it. We're going to start off with probably the funniest game of the week, the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions. What a weird fucking game to kick off the Thanksgiving slate. I mean, this was just so strange. It starts off as you would expect it to start off. The Lions just keep pounding and pounding the rock. They're driving down the field with ease, and they're beating the living shit out of the Chicago Bears. If I'm not mistaken, the score was like 16-0 at halftime or some shit like that. Lions were just dominating every which way. And all of a sudden, the Bears, led by the LGBTQB1, storm back, and they make a serious comeback. One thing leads to another. You wipe your eyes. It's late in the fourth quarter, and the Bears are driving down the field. The Lions are being decimated by injuries. Everything looks like it's going right for the Bears, and the Lions' Thanksgiving struggles are going to continue. Until, second down, Caleb decides to take a sack. Fine, not too bad. About 30 seconds left, plus Eberflus and the Bears have a timeout in their pocket. It takes them 30 goddamn seconds on like a 3rd and 26 to get set, all for fucking Caleb to snap the ball, throw it, and by the time the ball hits the ground, the clock hits 0 and the clock runs out on the Bears without even getting a field goal attempt. Last time, they would get their shit blocked when they would play Green Bay. They just got it blocked. This time, they didn't even get a chance to attempt the field goal. That's how bad it is. We'll start with the positives. This is actually a really good comeback by the Bears. Overall, the Bears offense especially played very well in the second half, and even defense too. They stood up, they stepped up, and they shut down the Lions. That's on the Bears side. Lions side, they played well. You can't take away from the Lions side of things, but what should be considered is A, there's a lot of defensive injuries. Their front seven is decimated. And if they want to make a run, a Super Bowl run, like they're supposed to, they need that front seven to get healthy again. Otherwise, they're fucked. They are fucked. That defense could be the downfall of them. And, you know, the way they played in this game showed a lot of flaws. That first half was great, but that second half was really bad. And they got outplayed badly in that second half. Bears could have, and arguably should have, won this game, whether it be in overtime, whether it be in regular time. However, the Bears are the Bears, and that's why they lost this game. Luckily for the Bears, Eberflus is fired. He's a shit head coach, even though I believe the blame for what happened at the end of this game deserves to go both ways. It's partially Eberflus's fault. It's also partially Caleb's fault. Eberflus is an idiot because he has one timeout in his pocket, and if he sees shit is going wrong, he should just call the timeout and let them kick the field goal on third down, right? No harm, no foul. Caleb needs to understand the clock and have better clock awareness. He needs to know how much time is left. He can't be checking out of the play because apparently it looked like, again, I'm not an expert in this shit, so maybe if someone knows better, they can comment down below. But it looked like Caleb was changing the play after the play call, which is part of the reason why the clock went down so low. So it's partially both sides' fault. Eberflus is a shit coach. Caleb is a bad quarterback. It works both ways. Horrible L for the Bears. I mean, this is the story of the season. The Redskins game, the Packers game, this game. They're all games that they could have won. Bears could have won all those games, and they just shit their pants. Yeah. Lions, though, even though they got away with the W, they need to really play it safe because A, they could have got fraud checked in this game. They could have got fraud checked in this game. And B, the defense is being decimated. They need to start getting healthy on the defensive side of the ball. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to make the run because you need defense to win championships. But overall, it was a great game, even though it wasn't supposed to be a great game and didn't start off as a great game. I've been yapping about this one for too long, even though this was the funniest game of all time. Next game, the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. We can fucking pretty much skip this one. Who the fuck cares about this? I mean, genuinely, you have Cooper Rush versus Drew Lock, shit quarterback versus shit quarterback. Cowboys are not making the playoffs. Giants, I think, are mathematically eliminated, and if they're not mathematically eliminated, they will be by next week. Absolute shit game. I mean, 20-27 isn't horrible, but it was very sloppy. You could see it was a game led by two backup quarterbacks. Game that, it was a snooze fest for the most part. Most people didn't even, I mean, this was the highest watched game, but now the argument is it because of the Cowboys and Giants? Is it because this time slot is just the main time slot in Thanksgiving? Nevertheless, shit game. Good win by the Cowboys. Does it mean anything? Not really. They're not making playoffs, and this season is pretty much over for them. Giants, I guess you could say good loss, because at this point, you're better off tanking. Draft yourself a fucking Travis Hunter, fucking Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, you name it. They can draft a lot of options. Give themselves the first round, number 1 overall pick, number 2 overall pick. Let them have some leverage. So, I guess in a way, the Giants and the Cowboys both won, because Giants lost, Cowboys won. But again, this is a shit game. There's nothing that's going to be taken out of this game, and it will have no impact on the playoff standings as it sits. Next game, Green Bay Packers versus the Miami Dolphins. Green Bay Packers absolutely dominated the Dolphins in this game. Dolphins looked lifeless out there. They looked sloppy, and they couldn't do anything. And it's so funny. The same problems every fucking year is the same for Miami. They cannot play in the cold. I mean, Tua Tugboat Viagra needs a fucking Viagra in the cold, because he just disappears. The team in general cannot play in the cold. And I get it. It's the Miami Dolphins. They play in Miami. They're not used to the cold. But every single time they just get embarrassed. And it's not like the Dolphins need to rely on their pass game. They have a pretty strong run game. Mustard and Acne are pretty fucking good. But again, same old issues for Miami. Packers are 9-3. They're in a great position. They're going to probably make the playoffs more likely than not. I mean, they're still in the run for the division. I doubt they're going to win it, but they're still in the run for it. So yeah, Packers, not much to say here. They're a playoff team. They play like a playoff team. Good defense, good run game. I'd be terrified of Green Bay if I'm like one of the bigger teams like Philadelphia or Detroit. Green Bay in the playoffs could be very, very dangerous. Dolphins, they're still alive. They're still alive to make the playoffs. They can't win the division. I think the Bills locked up the division, but Dolphins can still make a wild card run. I think they're only 2 games back of the wild card. Not horrible, but they have to play better in the cold. It's getting cold season right now. They have a few tough games in the cold at the end of the year, and even if they do make the playoffs, you know they're going to be playing who? Kansas City, Buffalo, what are the other options? Pittsburgh, Baltimore. These are cold-ass cities. Miami's fucked in any case. Even if they make the playoffs, they're going to get bounced in the first round because they literally cannot play in the cold. That's not here nor there. Good win for the Packers. Bad loss for the Dolphins. That's pretty much that. Next game, Las Vegas Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Unbelievable. How in the world do the fucking Chiefs manage to get away with this bullshit every fucking week? Every fucking week, the Chiefs manage to get away with this bullshit. They call a false start on the same play that it's a fumble. They let the fumble stand and shit. It's weird. It's weird. In any case, a game that's, again, irrelevant for the bigger scheme of things. Chiefs win again. Surprise, surprise. They're 11-1. They're probably going to win their division, win the AFC, because the Chiefs are the Chiefs. And Raiders are trash. Raiders, it's better for the Raiders to lose this game. Like, it really is. You know this. I know this. We all know this. Raiders losing this game is going to mean a lot more in April than it does right now. Right? They're going to get their pick. They're going to get their quarterback. They're going to be able to rebuild from the ground up. Winning this game did nothing for them except hurt them. Luckily, they didn't win this game because refs kind of helped out the Chiefs, and Chiefs just clutched up. Now, forget about the Raiders. Who the fuck cares about the Raiders? The Chiefs, they cannot keep getting away with this. They cannot keep getting away with this. Eventually, it is going to catch up to them, and they are going to fucking lose. If they play like this against playoff caliber teams, they will lose. These are weak-ass teams the Chiefs are playing, and they continuously continuously, barely scrape by. This is not a Super Bowl team as it stands right now. Now, we said that last year, so we'll see how it goes. But right now, Chiefs are not a Super Bowl team. They need to win these type of games more authoritatively. It's the Raiders, for God's sakes. I mean, you could have beat them by fucking 30. And they didn't. They won by 2, barely. Yeah, so Chiefs need to play a lot better if they want to be on that same echelon as real contenders. Like, Buffalo looks terrifying right now. Terrifying. But yes, Chiefs are shaky. Raiders, good job losing, Raiders. That's what you could say for that one. Next game, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Atlanta Falcons. Exactly what I said happened. The Falcons are in this mid-season lull where they're going to go on a little bit of a losing streak. Do I think they're frauds? Not really. But this game was it. The defense played amazing. Kirk Cousins threw like 4 interceptions. And even with Kirk Cousins throwing like 4 interceptions, bro, they could have won this game. It was 17-13. It's not like the Falcons got blown out completely. It was a winnable game. This was a low-scoring defensive game. I'm not sold that the Falcons are done. I genuinely still believe they are in it, but this is important. They need to start playing better because Tampa Bay is coming for their ass, and they're going to come for that ass hard. Good win for the Chargers. Sloppy win, but they got the job done. They didn't need to do much. Good defense won them this game, and that's exactly why it was a low-scoring snoozer. Chargers are a playoff team. I'm not worried about the Chargers. Falcons, I'm slightly worried about. But this was exactly my prediction, where the Falcons are going to start struggling mid-season, and then they're going to start to get going again. I'm not sure who they're playing next week, but I believe Falcons will get back on track, assuming they're not playing like a god team. If they're playing a god team, they're fucked. But if not, Falcons should win it. Falcons should get back on track, back on the winning column. Defense played great, but the offense needs to be a little bit better. Chargers, same thing. Defense played great. Offense needs to be a little bit better. You won, but you barely won against a team that threw 4 interceptions. That's not acceptable. Next game, Indianapolis Colts versus the New England Patriots. What a great game this was. Fucking Patriots. They covered, but they didn't win. Patriots were looking like they were going to win this game. They were outplaying the Colts every which way. And then, boom, out of nowhere, the Colts come back, win the game. A beautiful, beautiful game-winning touchdown by Anthony Richardson. The Colts showed up. They really did. They showed up and they did what they had to. They were this close to getting fraud checked, but they didn't. They got the job done. Now, the Colts are in prime position to steal the AFC South away from Texans. Texans are struggling badly. I think there's a 2-game difference between the two of them. Yeah, Colts can sneak in and take the Texans shit, especially because of what's been happening with the Texans, which we'll get into. But in any case, it was a great win by Indianapolis, and a win that could propel them in the right direction. That's what's important. This could be huge for Colts in the long run because they can now use this as motivation, big win, and they'll benefit them trying to make a playoff run because they're still in the playoff race too. Patriots, I guess you could say good L, again, similar to the Raiders game, similar to the Giants game. You're not making the playoffs. You're not doing anything this year. You're better off tanking, getting a good pick, and allowing yourself to have more leeway in selecting who you want or who fits your team better because Patriots don't need a quarterback. They can trade back or they can pick like a star receiver, star edge rusher, star O-lineman because they do not need a quarterback. So they actually, between the Giants and the Raiders, Patriots are in the much better position because they have their quarterback. Good win for the Colts. Great game in general. Next game, Arizona Cardinals versus the Minnesota Vikings. Another crazy-ass game. The Cardinals were in the lead for the majority of it. They had it. And then all of a sudden, they choked harder. And the Vikings storm back, make the comeback, embarrass Arizona. This Vikings team is legit. A lot of people can still call them fraud, but they are not fraud. They have a great defense, and Sam Darnold is playing fucking lights out. We're going to have to start calling him Sammy D, like Sonny D, because the guy is just a fucking baller. Vikings are 10-2. They're right on the Detroit Lions' ass. If I was Detroit, I'd be scared because a fucking greatest season in Detroit Lions history matched by Minnesota fucking around with Sam Darnold. It was a great win by Minnesota. Great comeback by Minnesota. They're going to make the playoffs. I mean, shit, they might win the division with the way Lions injuries and shit keeps falling. But in any case, Minnesota is a serious, serious threat. Do not sleep on them, even in the playoffs. Arizona, I still have faith in. Thank God the NFC West is just shit because it's 6-6 in a lot of these other divisions would be not good. NFC West, Cardinals still got it. I'm not worried about them. They have a big game, I think against Seattle this week. I still believe Arizona can and will beat the Seahawks. I don't think Seahawks are all that, and I believe Arizona in general is better than Seattle. So even though they're 6-6, even though they suffered another tough L, I'm not, out on the Cardinals winning the division. I still believe the Cardinals can and should win the division. Next game. The Seattle Seahawks versus the New York Jets. The New York Jets are the biggest embarrassment in NFL history. They're up like 21-7. 21-7. Driving to score another tud to make it 28-7 after a beautiful kick return touchdown for the Jets. And what happens? Aaron bitch-ass Rodgers throws a pick six, changes the entire momentum of the game, and from that point on, nothing happens. Jets do nothing on defense, on offense. We'll start with the defense. We could sit here and blame the defense for being an absolute shit show, which they have been the whole year, but they didn't play bad. They didn't play that bad. The offense is the reason we lost this game. The offense is the reason we continue to lose this game. I'm sick of talking about the same old bullshit. Seattle was the better team. They outplayed the Jets here. The Jets are trash. For the, 10th year in a row, we're not going to have a winning season, and chances are we're not even going to make the playoffs. This is going to be like 14th year in a row for not making playoffs. We had one winning season in the last 15 years, just so you guys understand. In any case, the Cardinals, the fucking Jets are trash. They are garbage. It was a good win by Seattle. They were resilient. They came back. They overcame the bullshit Jets threw at them, and Jets are fucking bad. I'm not even raging today because it's like I'm so sick of the same old bullshit that I'm just used to watching the nonsense over and over and over and over again. Jets are trash. Seattle's good. Period. Next game. The Tennessee Titans versus the Washington Redskins. Again, a short one I'm going to keep. Washington Redskins absolutely bullied and dominated the Titans. Titans are trash. They don't cover for shit. We know this already. Forget about the Titans. The Redskins needed this one. This was a huge game that they needed to win. They lost to the Cowboys. They lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Steelers. After starting off so well, everything just collapsed. I don't know if they're going to win the division anymore. Eagles have a very easy schedule, and they're like 10-2. In any case, this was important for the confidence of the Redskins in total. The team in general is better off after this victory. JD still balls out, still does his thing, had a great game in this one. A couple mistakes here and there, but overall, he played great from start to finish. Redskins absolutely dominated the trash-ass Titans. Titans are garbage. Their season is over. Redskins actually may still make the playoffs. They can't allow these bullshit-ass losses anymore, and they have to play better against the stronger levels of competition. If they don't play better against the stronger levels of competition, then they are fucked. Good win for the Redskins. Shit loss for the Titans. Nothing special in this one. Next game, the Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. What a game this was. We'll start off with the beginning where the Texans are in control. It's relatively close, but Texans are clearly playing better football. All of a sudden, I don't even know his name. Osama bin Laden on the Texans basically destroys Trevor Lawrence, which personally I think it's a clean hit, but I get it. He with his elbow, he led with his forearm, but between me and you, I think it was clean, and everyone's just a little bitch. Whatever. He pretty much knocks out Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor Lawrence started like clamming up and shit, Tua style. They carry this motherfucker off the field, and now Mac Jones is back in for Jacksonville. It's looking like it's over. Texans are up, I think, by like 17 points. They're up by a lot in the fourth quarter. Mac Jones leads the comeback, and the beautiful, beautiful backdoor cover by Jacksonville. I had Jacksonville to cover here. Jacksonville covers the spread at the last second. A man of the people. A man of the people is Mac Jones. We'll start with this. Jacksonville are trash. They're 2-10. They're competing for the number 1 overall pick. Their season's over. Who the fuck cares about them? Even if Lawrence comes back, which I doubt he will, at this point it's smarter to just shut him down for the rest of the season, let him recover, and let him bounce back in 25. Whatever. Texans should have lost this game. They could have lost this game if Trevor Lawrence didn't get hurt. The way they were playing, they did nothing to assert themselves as the dominant victor. Even with that, the most important thing that needs to be mentioned, now Aziz is out for 3 games. Maybe he gets it reduced to 2 games. The Texans team is falling apart every fucking week. Even the weeks in which they win the game, they win barely and scrape by with no real confidence. Texans are on fraud alert really badly. The defense is playing like shit and the offense is lackluster. Texans have a lot of work to do because they are going to get fraud checked sooner rather than later. And even if they manage to sneak in, make the playoffs because their division is just shit, they're going to get murdered. They're going to get absolutely murdered by whoever they play, whether it be Chargers, Baltimore, you name it. Texans on fraud alert. Jacksonville's trash. That's my analysis for this game. Next one, Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals. This was a great game. Great game. And it's insane. How many 30-point performances do the Bengals have in which they lost the game? It feels like every fucking week it's the same bullshit where the Bengals just get outplayed defensively. Offensively, they do amazing. Burrow's having an MVP season. But defensively, they always come up short. And that is their downfall, week in and week out. Steelers played unbelievable football here. Steelers played the type of football we rarely see from them. To see 44 points next to the Pittsburgh Steelers name is crazy. They balled out. And this was just a game that defense did not exist. Bengals were a team that they should have lost to. The Steelers should have lost to this Bengals team. But the offense just showed up and showed out. Steelers are in great position. They're going to win their division probably. I mean, it's not for sure yet, but probably. And they're going to be a real threat in the playoffs. I mean, I've been saying it, but I'll say it one more time. Steelers are a threat. Steelers are a real threat. They're going to be a monster in the playoffs. Don't fuck with the Steelers and don't fuck with Danger Russ, a.k.a. Mr. Unlimited. But yeah, Steelers are in great position. Nothing to worry about for them. Bengals are so fucked. They are so fucked. Bengals are 4-8. Their season is coming to an end. They have to win out. And even if they win out, they still might not make the playoffs. The Bengals are in so much trouble. And it's the defense. It's pure pure defense. Lou Anarumo has to be fired. The defense has to have a complete overhaul because every week Burrow, Chase, all of them have a monster game. And they lose. How do you score 38 points in the National Football League and lose? It's insane. Great win for the Steelers. Bad loss for the Bengals. Bengals could have done better. But with no defense, that's the result you're going to get. Next game, the Los Angeles Rams versus the New Orleans Saints. Rams beat the Saints in an interesting one. You know, the Saints were up early, and it was looking like it's going to be an upset. And then the Rams just stormed back, played a lot better later into the game. They won by a touchdown. This was a boring game overall. Saints are kind of shit. Rams are not that good either. It feels like a lot of these past weeks they've been getting pretty fraud checked and shit. They didn't get fraud checked in the game, but with the way they started, it is a bit concerning because they could have easily lost. Overall, they played well. They played well enough. They beat but they beat the Saints pretty strong. They didn't allow any bullshit, even though early in the game they allowed a bunch of bullshit. And they won. They played better than the Saints. Are the Saints good? Nah. Are the Rams good? Maybe? Yeah, Saints are trash. Saints are done for. They had their little time in the sun with Coach Riz, and that's all they're going to get. Maybe they'll win a few games here or there, but besides that, irrelevant. Rams are still in the running, just like the Cardinals, for the NFC West. Can they win it? Hell yeah, they can. But with the way they've been playing the last few weeks, I doubt it. It was a pretty shit game. Rams come out on top, keep themselves alive and in the mix for the NFC West. Saints are done for. Next game, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Eagles were the better team. Ravens took an early, I think it was like a 9-0 lead, and from that point on, Eagles just stormed back, bullied, and I mean bullied, the fucking Ravens. Ravens couldn't do shit in the second half. It was just an overall great performance from the Eagles. Defense played well. Running game is beast as usual. Saquon is a fucking animal. The Eagles team is legit. They are legit. I was hating a little bit early in the year, but now I gotta admit, they are legit. Don't sleep on Philly. Do not, and I mean do not sleep on Philly, because Philly is gonna go very, very far this season. I'm expecting it. Don't fuck with this Philly team. They have good defense. They have a good run game. And if Sirianni keeps shaving his goddamn head, Eagles ain't losing for nothing. Ravens played iffy. Tucker needs to be addressed. He missed way too many kicks. And, you know, that's part of the reason why the Ravens lost. Tucker missing these clutch-ass kicks. Besides Tucker, Lamar didn't play all that well. And the funniest thing, like, there's a reason why I call Lamar a running back. Because he is a running back. He himself said he should be running more. And they would have won this game if he was running the ball more. Because he knows you can't rely on Lamar's passing game. You can only rely on Lamar's running game mixed with the passing game. His passing game without his running ability is nothing. I don't want to sit here and hate too much on the Ravens. They're 8-5. They're still in playoff position, but the gap between them and the Steelers is starting to become wider and wider. So that's the key issue for the Ravens. But in any case, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to lose in the playoffs because they're not built for the playoffs, unlike the Eagles, who are built for the playoffs. But in any case, Lamar's a running back. It stays true. I can hate as much as I want. Eagles, great win. Maybe lose a few extra games for your boy so the Washington Redskins could win the division. But in any case, you're looking like a real threat in the NFC, even though the year started off a little bit rocky. Just to put it like that. Next game, surprisingly good game this one was. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers. And I deadass had the script for this game. I don't remember what I said, but you guys can go back in the video. I saw some comments about it. Apparently, I nailed this game to a T. But in any case, I did nail it because I had Panthers to cover. Panthers played so well in this game. Panthers had every opportunity to win it. Every opportunity to win this game. In regulation, in overtime. I genuinely thought Panthers were going to pull off the upset and fraud check the Buccaneers. They didn't. Chuba Hubbard had a horrible fumble in field goal range in overtime, in which a field goal would have won the game. He choked, and that's why the Panthers lost. Panthers played unbelievable. Bryce Young played really well. The Panthers team in general is going up, which is really important so that for next year, they may actually be not a contender, but like a sneaky little playoff team. I'm not saying they will be, but I'm saying they could be. Panthers, great performance, great effort, and thank God you covered, right? Because that's what matters. Buccaneers played iffy. Played really iffy. I mean, the Buccaneers could have done a lot better and won with more authority, but they didn't. And that's the key issue. Do I believe the Buccaneers are frauds? No. But they cannot perform like this against higher levels of competition because they will lose. The good thing for the Buccaneers is Bucky Irving is an animal. Bucky Irving is a gem that they found in the draft. Bucky Irving is going to be a starting running back sooner rather than later. Good win for the Buccaneers. It was a sweat, but you managed to pull it out, and that's all that matters. And great effort by the Panthers, too. Thank you for covering. 49ers versus the Bills. Nothing to say for this one. 49ers are done for. McCaffrey injures his PCL. Jordan Mason is on IR. The running game for the Niners is done for, decimated. The team in general is 5-7, and they just got bullied. The Bills straight up bullied the Niners every which way. Defensively, offensively, this was not a game. There was no competitiveness in this game. The Bills flat out dominated the Niners. And that's why the Bills are in the position they're in, and the Niners are in the position the Niners in. Bills are a playoff team. They won the AFC East. They're going to go far. This could be the Bills' year. It really can be. I mean, we say this every year, but it really could be. Niners suck. I wish for all my Niners fans I could say something more positive, but after a performance like this, what's there to say besides Niners suck? They're injury-riddled. The Super Bowl hangover is getting to them really hard. And it's over. It's over. I mean, it's 5-7. They're still in the running for their own division, but it's becoming more and more difficult week in and week out with these type of embarrassing performances. That's all I really got to say for the Sunday night analysis. Bills dominated. And Niners couldn't do a thing. Next game. Browns versus Broncos on a Monday night banger in which we had Jameis Winston looking like prime Brady, Bo Nix looking like prime Peyton. I don't know what the fuck happened here. But in any case, the Cleveland Browns were this close to winning this game. But Jameis Winston clearly didn't get his eyes fixed through two pick sixes, one of them being the game-sealing pick six. Because look at it like this. When the Broncos scored the field goal to go up, 34-32, I thought they left too much time on the clock. And knowing the Browns, knowing Jameis's bullshit, they are going to drive down, score a field goal, win the game. But I should have known Jameis's bullshit when he threw a pick six on the game-winning drive. Browns are playing a lot better with Jameis, but their season is over. They're not making the playoffs. I guess it's good for Jameis because he can get himself a starting job somewhere. But Jameis is clearly a much better offensive quarterback than Deshaun Cosby, that's for sure. Broncos, even though the defense didn't carry them as much as they would like, I mean, they got 2 fucking pick sixes, but, they still allowed 32 points. Broncos could have played a lot stronger defensively, but offensively, they did their end. Bo Nix balled out. Bo Nix might be Rookie of the Year. You guys know I love JD, but I got to admit, Bo Nix could be Rookie of the Year. He's been balling out. This Broncos team is super dangerous. They are a playoff team, and if I'm a top-level seed, I do not want to see the Broncos. I do not want to see the Broncos. I'd rather see the Broncos. I'd rather see the Ravens in January than the Broncos, just because of how the team is built. I'm telling you. You might think it's crazy, but I'm telling you. Great win for the Broncos, great effort for the Browns, and great fucking win for us, the fans, who got to watch this shit, who everyone thought it was going to be a nasty, shitty game, turned into an absolute all-time classic. That's how you want to see it. That was my recap for Week 13 of the NFL season. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. Playoffs are coming real soon, and these games matter a lot more.